The Fisherman and MaÄ's Feather. Let me take you back to a time long ago along the Great Nile River in ancient Egypt, thousands of years before our time. This was a land of golden deserts, mighty pyramids, and a people who believed deeply in truth and balance. It's here we meet our main character, a humble fisherman named Omari. Omari lived in a small village by the river. He wasn't rich by any means. His boat was old, his nets often torn, and his daily catch just enough to feed his family. But Omari was known for something rare: honesty. In a world where many might bend the truth to get ahead, Omari held fast to what was right, no matter the cost. Now, this story begins one morning just as the sun was rising, casting a warm glow over the shimmering Nile. Omari was pulling in his nets when something unusual caught his eye, something gleaming beneath the muddy water. Curious, he reached down and pulled out a beautiful gold amulet. It was shaped like a small feather, delicate and shining, unlike anything he had ever seen. Omari knew this amulet must belong to someone important. In ancient Egypt, feathers symbolized Ma'at, the goddess of truth, justice, and moral balance. The feather was sacred, representing the perfect balance of right and wrong, the way things should be. But Omari wasn't rich or powerful. He was just a simple fisherman. So what should he do with something so valuable? For days, Omari thought about keeping the amulet. With it, he could sell it for enough money to fix his boat, buy new nets, even provide his family a life of comfort. But every time he looked at the feather, he felt a quiet voice inside reminding him of honesty and fairness. Finally, he decided to return it to the temple in the nearby city, knowing it belonged to the priest who safeguarded Ma'at symbols. That night, after a long day's journey, Omari fell into a deep sleep. In his dream, he found himself standing before the great scales of Ma'at. On one side lay his heart, and on the other, the golden feather. The scales began to tip. Sometimes his heart seemed heavy with doubt, sometimes light with courage. But slowly the scales balanced perfectly, as if MaÄ herself was telling him his honesty had been true and just. When Omari awoke the next morning, he felt lighter, braver, and more certain of himself than ever before. He returned to the river, and something remarkable happened. The water seemed clearer, the fish more plentiful. As he cast his nets, silver fish, bright as moonlight, swam into his boat, more than he had ever caught before. To Omari, this was no coincidence. The river, Ma'at, and world around him had rewarded his truthfulness. His small act of honesty had brought balance not only to his heart, but also to his life. This story reminds us that truth isn't always easy, especially when temptation knocks on our door. Like Omari, when we choose honesty, we bring balance to ourselves and the world. Think about a time you found a lost toy or a wallet. Maybe it didn't seem like much, but returning it made you feel good inside. That feeling is a little like the scales of Ma'at tipping in our favor. So, whether you're a fisherman on a great river or a kid in a busy city, remember Omari and the feather. Truth is a treasure worth more than gold, and when we live with honesty, life often rewards us in ways we never expect. Thanks for listening to this tale from ancient Egypt, part of our journey through African myths and faith. Until next time, keep your heart steady and your truth shining bright.